it's I.
It's Whimsy.
And we're on Wikihow.
And we're going to be looking up some tutorials on how Wikihow thinks we should do backbends. And we're going to deliberately find terrible ones, because Wikihow kind of has a reputation for having very terrible advice. And then we're going to give a general reaction to that advice, whether we think it's good or bad. And then we're actually going to try these things out. And I'm going to hate all of it.
And I'm gonna hate like half of it.
And then we will come to a conclusion of whether or not we were right to assume the advice was good or bad. So, without further ado, let's go.
How to backbend.
Yep.
Okay. So, I feel like if you know how to get into a bridge, you know how to get out of one.
Also, it says keep practicing each of these steps and you'll have your backbend in no time, but this is a tutorial on how to get back up. We might be nitpicking there.
But remember, we have to keep practicing each step. So we have to keep practicing.
Oh, it has pictures.
Pictures of the post.
Okay, go into bridge position. And again, we should already know how to do this.
But we should keep practicing it.
So,
put your weight on your knees.
okay.
Okay. Use your legs to pull yourself up while you rock on your toes.
This already sounds nothing like what I do. Which is bad for the article. It's probably bad for me. Would you like to pull yourself up while you're rocking your toes?
While you rock on your toes, what does that mean?
Rock on your toes means like while you're bent back, you like push your weight forward and then back again. You kind of run the risk of falling while you do that. You kind of run the risk of falling while you're doing any of this.
Yeah. Okay.
If you can't pull yourself up, try rocking back and forth a few more times for more power before pulling up. Okay?
Cool.
Levitate. Begin to levitate.
You can rock forth and back and get up, then with practice, you should be able to just pull up.
Pull, okay. So this is a pulling thing.
So
Okay.
if you can rock back and forth and get up by rocking back and forth, then eventually, after a while, you can just get up.
Okay. Develop telekinesis.
Yeah?
Oh my.
Be confident and say to yourself, I can do this. I know I can do this. I am positive I can do this, and then fall.
This is some of my most hated advice for anything. It's just the I can do this spiel. You know what? I told myself I can do a front flip on a trampoline, and you know what happened? I fell off.
So, after you do it, you should be confident that you can do it.
So when we actually try to do this, do I have to do this whole, I can do this nonsense
Yes.
and see if that helps?
Yes. Don't just expect it to happen.
After you've already completed it. This is step 7. I hate the whole I can do this thing, but we'll try this.
I don't think trying to be positive when you're doing anything is very helpful, because then you just kind of get disappointed when you fail.
Then again, we're both extremely negative and pessimistic people by nature.
Terrible!
You can do this, Vanessa! Tell yourself you can do this.
No, I can do it my way. That one wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. The only thing we would do is we would add a step that is bring one of your hands up before the other.
Because otherwise it seems to just keep too much pressure on your shoulders and both your hands, and then you can't get up.
Yeah. Also, it says to rock on your toes,
which is
and
a
there was
terrible
some
idea.
confusion about that. I don't think it actually wanted you to get up onto your toes. It just wanted you to rock so that your weight ended up more on your toes than the ball of your than your heel. The ball of your foot is. Anyway. So yeah, this one was so-so. This seems to be generally what most people say to do.
And don't understand it.
Yeah, I see this advice a lot, so we'll be trying it out today.
Okay. Code 1. Preparing the location.
Move into a new house and don't unpack. Yeah. Okay, now what is the step actually? Find a good, clear spot. Blue pillows. Like robin egg blue.
And then paint on the floor.
Okay. In seriousness, place a mat, cushion, or pillow on the floor. So. Look at his face!
Whimsy? Whimsy, are you done?
Comfortable clothing. Yeah, he looks very comfortable.
Wear comfortable clothing.
You're like aged 30 years. So, next step is age 30 years.
And then stretch.
So without knowing what the straddle is, which I don't, what angle are my legs supposed to be at?
So
Stretch your arms like in the picture.
Oh, that.
Okay.
So, I have a question for this. What does Wikihow think is the difference between doing a bridge and doing a backbend?
That's a good question. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, apparently you need to be able to do the splits to do a backbend too.
Splits. You don't have to be able to do the splits, but it's a good stretch for the backbend.
Is it?
No. Proceed to doing the backbend when you consider you've done sufficient stretching.
It's up to me, the noob that doesn't know anything, to know when I've stretched enough. Putting a lot of faith in me, Wikihow.
Okay, get a spotter. Don't try this without someone to help
Did
you.
he become a woman?
Yes?
It's so much worse.
Place your feet on the floor.
Where were they before?
Place your hands on the wall. Put the palms of your hands on the wall behind you.
Okay. Proceed to become broken. No, he's fine.
Start bringing your hands down the wall and onto the floor.
His foot looks weird.
Succeed. Done. Now you're in a bridge position and you just achieved a backbend against the wall.
This one was just worded kind of badly.
But I actually think this one was one of my favorites.
I think this one comes down to personal preference. I hated it.
You
I
hated all of
doing
it.
it against a wall, absolutely. It made me feel really uncomfortable.
I don't know. It kind of gave me a sense of security, knowing that I could like push more against the wall and it's not gonna like follow anything.
Claustrophobic is the word. It felt claustrophobic to me, being up against the wall. So that one is up to personal preference.
Yeah, that's gonna be in the video.
How to do and recover from a backbend.
Stretching. That's part 1.
Okay.
Okay. Do the cobra.
Warm up your back by doing seal stretches.
Okay.
hamstrings by doing middle splits while keeping your elbows on the ground. Well, his elbows aren't on the ground, and I guess you have to know how to do a middle split now. Locate your shoulders.
No, have somebody else dislocate your shoulders.
Sasuke style.
Stretch your shoulders by having the person stand behind you. Reach your arms out behind you and have your helper grab them and gently pulling them back. Make sure to let them know when it begins to hurt. Don't just
stop before it hurts. You when doing any kind of assisted thing, you tell the person to stop when it begins to feel uncomfortable. You don't want it to hurt. There's a difference between hurt and sting.
attempting the back bend. Reach for the sky. Stand straight and tall and stretch your hands into the sky.
I'm not even sitting straight. I was super crooked. Okay.
Begin to ouch back, keeping your eyes on your head. I don't like that
That's
advice.
another common tip we've seen is, following, like doing this and keeping your eyes on it. When we were trying to get Tyler to do back bends way back when he was doing that, and I was getting in trouble.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons he couldn't do it, was because he was just going like that and he was watching his hands and then he couldn't, and then he fell.
Yeah.
A lot.
I don't like that tip.
Nope.
But we'll be putting it into practice today.
And you're gonna fall. Yeah.
Oh.
I have muscles from doing this, so I'll be fine. Keep ouching to the ground until your hands fully on the ground.
Okay, so it is from the sound of it, I might be overanalyzing, doesn't want you to actually fall into it. It wants you to actually just slowly lower yourself into it.
Yes, so it wants you to have muscles to be able to do it.
Yeah, I'm not strong enough to do that. I fall. And my head comes like this close to the floor sometimes.
I mean, that's like, I used to fall all the time. Like, I used to just kind of push myself a little bit because my hands would be like that far off the ground. And now I can just lower myself. Because I don't like falling.
I can't.
It fucks up my wrist. Be sure your legs and feet are together and not too far apart. But how much is too far apart?
Also, those feet aren't together.
Okay, so part 3. Recover it. So after you do it, you have to get back up from
You
it.
need to change your shirt.
Yes? Be sure your back bend is correct first.
How?
Recovering comes second to mastering the back bend itself. Once you have that down, you'll be ready to work on coming up from it. Is that how
It doesn't tell me what a correct back bend is, though. Is that one correct? It doesn't look like what I've come to know is correct.
Choose your recovery method. There are different ways to recover from a back bend. Rock yourself back and forth until you stand. Get your weight into your legs and push yourself up. Use your waist to thrust yourself up.
Okay, I think the waist part is what I do, but certainly not thrust. I'm too awkward and slow for that to be considered thrusting.
So are you gonna try thrusting your waist?
I'm gonna fall, is what I'm gonna do. I don't know, but he seems to be laying on the floor, which is what you typically do when you've decided to give up on standing back up from it.
Yeah.
Typically, this is what I do, is I just lay down and then roll over and get up.
Okay. Stand back up.
Don't watch your hands while you fall backwards.
And I mean, it would have been fine if Whimsy fell. But even
trying to scowl.
But even I fell. But yeah, just you can't tell where you are if you're watching your hands. You have to watch before your hands, because watching your hands makes you fall.
If you guys can successfully fall into a backbend while staring at your freaking hands, you let us know, because we can't do it.
That makes you better than us. Good job.
How to do a one-handed backbend.
Do you feel like you have to do more than just a backbend? Do you want to take backbends to the next level? Do you want to learn gymnastics for fun as a beginner? Well, you've came to the right place. I will teach you. This tutorial will teach you perfectly. Avoid all of the searching. Stretch to avoid painful back aches.
Oh? Why do I need to do cartwheels?
Get a good backbend.
Make sure it is perfect.
Do a backbend with one arm high, strong hand, and one a little lower, weak hand, and touch the floor with your high hand. Then when you reach the floor on that one hand, if you have to put your other hand down, do so. Keep practicing how many seconds you can hold the backbend without one hand. You'll get better. Oh, or go into a backbend and take a hand away. Then you will be able to do one-handed backbend. Then you will be able to step away from a standing one-handed backbend. It will look cooler. It may not be perfect the first time, but you'll improve.
Just do it!
And that about sums it up.
Yeah, so that has been I and Whimsy with Wikihow.
Don't learn how to do things from Wikihow. You're better off figuring it out yourself. Bye.
Later. How to teach a child a standing backbend.
We don't have a child.